So today I had a very interesting interaction with Sargon of Akkad, also known as Karl Kochgerman of Swindon. Now, he had posted a very funny and cute video of his son saying some shit about a truck.
Do we love Fireman Sam? Yeah?
Here it is here. My son has already been brainwashed into toxic masculinity by the patriarchy. His son is very adorable and it's a cute video. It is a little bit weird that Sargon wants to include his son in a comment which, is making fun of anybody who believes the idea of patriarchy or toxic masculinity, because it's kind of like dragging his son into random political stuff. It's just like a little kid, whatever. But whatever, okay, no big deal. So I said, please let him grow up to be a feminist, even though he will be disowned. Ha 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 ha. Now, this was basically just a joke, because, I don't know, Sargon's probably a perfectly fine parent. He probably wouldn't disown his son for being a feminist. I just thought it would be funny if his kid grows up to be a feminist. Because, unlike Sargon and a lot of the people on his side and on Twitter, I don't think feminism is cancer. I think there are different strains of feminism. Some of those strains are good, some of them I don't like, but you can easily be a feminist and be a reasonable person and have a point of view which is just like, I want equality for women, I want to fight for women's rights, and yes, I want to fight against rape culture and the concept of toxic masculinity and all these kinds of things. Fucking fine, I have no problem with that, I don't really care, but I just thought it'd be funny. Okay, Sargon spends all his time online saying feminism is cancer, feminism is caused by autism, and if you've got feminism, you're probably autistic.
We can probably go on a letter writing campaign to various organisations and politicians to let them know about the connection between feminism and autism and all the good that we are doing. I know it's dreaming big, but we don't know where this humble campaign will go. Maybe one day, in the far future, when people think feminism, they'll also think autism.
Which is a massive insult to not only feminists but also people who have autism. That's insulting them for no reason, throwing them under the bus. Nita Sarkeesian and Lacey Green and all of these feminists and all of them being horrible human beings and terrible people and it's disgusting and we fucking hate feminism. So if his son grew up to be a feminist, that would be hilarious because it would be a huge test of Sargon's parenting, but I would not want him to treat his son like shit because he was a feminist, and I'm not assuming that he would, but in this joke, I said he would be disowned. And I'm sure he wouldn't, because I'm assuming that Sargon is less of a cunt to his kids and the people around him than he is on Twitter and online. He's probably far nicer to people in his everyday life and doesn't talk to them in the despicable, disgusting ways he does online. Because people have two different faces. And I certainly troll people and act like much more of a douche on Twitter than if I actually talk to someone in real life. But I do think they would probably have some pretty uncomfortable times around the dinner table. Oh, so Dad, I was learning about patriarchy today, and it's a really interesting concept, and I could just picture him sitting there like...
It is a fucking feminist system fucking feminist system fucking feminist.
Well, son, are you sure you're not autistic? That was a joke I made, and the whole point of that was you demonize feminists to a ridiculous degree. Maybe you disown your own kid. Offensive. So his reply to this is, "You are a horrible person, Tim. I'd never disown my own son, even if he turned out like you."
Traitor!
And he got 37 retweets for that, 376 likes. Now that made me think, I'm a horrible person. How am I a horrible person for making a joke that you didn't like, considering you're the person who said to a member of parliament, I wouldn't even rape you. I wouldn't even rape you. And then when you told your mother about it on a phone call, you left the even out.
Recording a quick thing for Twitter, just to let you know, right, there's a feminist MP called Jess Phillips, and I wouldn't rape her. I will never rape her, ever.
What's that about?
And I'm thinking, well, telling someone that I wouldn't rape them is something I would say in front of my mum.
You don't ever need to say that to me because I know you wouldn't do such a thing.
I know, and that's why it's all the funnier when someone's like, oh my god, you wouldn't say that to your mum, would you? Well, yeah, I would, because, obviously.
even because you knew that that made you look like fucking shit. If you read into my joke, the worst part of that joke would be me judging you and saying that you could conceivably disown your own son. Not a nice thing to say. But as you said in your comment, you would never disown your son. That's great. So, I mean, that's resolved, isn't it? But when it was pointed out that saying I wouldn't even rape you was offensive, what did you do? You doubled down, you tripled down, you quadrupled down. All of your followers left this comment over and over again, I wouldn't even rape you. Which is saying you're too ugly to rape. That's what the even means. If you say I wouldn't rape you, I mean, it's not funny. It's not like comedy gold or whatever. That's much different than saying I wouldn't even rape you. Because that's implying if you were good looking enough, I would rape you, but you're ugly, so I'm not going to rape you. Can you not see how that is despicable and disgusting? But no, you never apologize for that. You never apologize for the harm that you cause other people when you say things like that. Because you don't actually give a fuck. This is just like selective outrage. When you want to feel like a victim. When you want to feel like you're being put upon. When you want to gather together all of your followers to circle jerk each other to say, oh, look at these horrible feminists and the terrible things they say. Then all of a sudden, oh, you're a horrible person and I'm offended. Oh, and this is such a horrible comment. I can't believe you'd say something so despicable and disgusting. But I wouldn't even rape you? No one cares. Whatever. Joking about people being too ugly to rape? Hilarious. Who cares if like that they're rape survivors? Who cares if any of these people have actually suffered in their lives and now have to put up with the garbage that you put forth? And that you will never apologize for, and that you just quadruple and quintuple down on. You know, no apologies for them. But me, oh, I'm a horrible person because I made a joke about your son taking up feminism and you disowning him. Cry me a fucking river. Are you serious? Now here I wrote, I still wouldn't even rape you though, Sargon. Which is a parody, it's satirical. That's a disgusting thing to say to somebody, joke or not. But I know that he will never apologize for saying that. I can't say whether he's a horrible person, I just know that he's not somebody to call other people horrible based on what he's done. Now, what I wanted to say was a much harsher comment that I know that I couldn't put because it was too harsh sounding, but it perfectly illustrates why saying I wouldn't even rape you is such a disgusting thing to say. What if I had said I wouldn't even rape your son? Would it still be funny? Would you still find it hilarious, or would you think that I'm an extremely despicable, horrible human being, rightfully so, for joking about raping your kid? But then would that make you understand why it's offensive and why it hurts? Why it's not funny? Would that make you understand? Because the moment it becomes personal, then you get offended. Then you start to cry. Then you get quote unquote triggered. But before that point, you don't care. You don't care how it hurts. It has to hurt you personally before you give a shit. So if I said I wouldn't even rape your son, would you think that's funny? Would you laugh? I doubt it. You would say that I'm an extremely despicable human being. And you know what? You'd be fucking right if that was the joke that I chose to make. But that's the joke you made, man. You made that joke to somebody. And all of your followers went and followed up on that joke over and over and over again to that person. And you don't care about that because your ideology of being anti-feminist and anti-social justice warrior dictates that you can't have humanism. You can't actually fucking care about the way that hurts other people. You know, so when the fuck are you gonna apologize, man? When are you gonna say sorry for how you've treated people? Now, further down, I got into a conversation with a random dude. I said, it's hilarious how much shit you dish out, but fucking humorless and sensitive to jokes at your expense, because it's true. This guy said, strange how people have zero sense of humor when a joke is about their toddler. Who'd have thought? So I said, yep, saying they might be a feminist/autist is pretty sick, because he compared feminists to autists. So I guess if I'm saying that Sargon's son should grow up to be a feminist, I'm saying he should grow up to be autistic, because apparently those are like similar things, and that's like hilarious. So yeah, I was wishing autism and cancer on his kid as well. Then this fucking guy says here, I would never disown my children. I would just spend my life seeking to cure them. Sargon liked that. Curing kids of feminism. Ha 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 ha, hilarious. What? Me disowning my child for being a feminist? Insulting! Well, make up your fucking mind, dude. Is it just like something's funny to you if it supports your narrow ideology, and if it doesn't, it's not funny? And was the joke offensive because I was joking about you disowning your kid, or about him becoming a feminist? I'm still not even sure. And this guy says, I just sit my kids down and binge watch This Week in Stupid. I know that's probably a joke, binge watching Sargon's anti-feminist content, but mine was a joke too. Indoctrinating kids to be anti-feminist and forcing them what to think. Ha ha, hilarious. You joking about my son being a feminist? Monster. Joking about how I wouldn't even rape you and then having thousands of followers make the same joke over and over to this person? Ha, hilarious. Now this guy said, "Oh my god, I watch Sargon of Akkad videos with my feminist fiancé and have a discussion over coffee. My viewpoint is obviously worthless." Me. I'm glad you and your cancerous autist fiancé I wouldn't rape still get along. This guy comes in. Why the frack would you say something like that, even as a joke? Come on, man. I thought that was awesome Sargon-inspired comedy, no? Funny stuff there. So your justification is because person X says stupid things, it's okay for you to do it as well? No. Pointing out the absurd double standards going on. People defend jokes along ideological lines. So you're taking back what you said and acknowledge it was stupid? It was to make a point. I'm sure his fiancée is lovely. And I'm sure they are. I have no idea who the fuck they are. I just know that you said they were feminist, therefore they must be disgusting, autistic, retard, faggot, dumbass, moron. Because I'm a Sargon fan, that's the kind of shit we think. I said, okay, I take back a satirical comment if it makes you feel better, sure. Saying that someone's partner is cancerous, autistic, and that you wouldn't take her ain't satire. Thank you. Yeah, it's not. It's insulting and repulsive and disgusting, and I hate the fact that autistic is constantly being used as an insult on the internet. I know people think it's hilarious, but how do you think people who actually are struggling in life with autism feel about being constantly degraded like this? Some of them actually are like Sargon fans and seem to think it's funny and enjoy it, but I don't understand that. And I think a lot of other people are actually suffering as a result of normalizing ableism and using autism as a way of degrading and insulting people. I mean, I care about that because I think it harms people. But I'm the one, apparently, that's horrible. Whereas Sargon and his fans are the people who describe things as autistic constantly. That's what they do all the fucking time. I'm glad you and your cancerous autist fiancé I wouldn't rape still get along. Is that a despicable, disgusting comment? Yes, that's why I said it. To show you that this is not just humor. This is not, like, funny. This is degrading, and it's insulting, and it's, yeah. That's a disgusting comment. That's the style of humor that they use every single day. I see it all the fucking time. Everyone's a faggot, everything's autistic. Anti-Semitism is just like hilarious. Jokes about the Holocaust. Great stuff. Memes, of just like Jews being shoved in the ovens and worshipping Hitler and thinking that's just really edgy and cool and hilarious. It's all over the fucking place. But I'm the horrible person because I joked about you disowning your son for having an ideology that you describe as cancer and that you describe as autistic as an insult because you really just don't seem to care about people who struggle with things like autism, who regularly describe things as retarded all the fucking time, with no regard for how that actually affects people who are struggling with actual difficult conditions in their real everyday life. No human empathy. There's no fucking humanism here. This guy accidentally figured it out while he was trying to, berate me for this. He said, rape is no fucking joking matter, discussion over, bye. Yes! Yes, exactly! Rape is not, that's what rape culture is. It's normalizing joking about rape because you just don't give a fuck about victims. You don't care about people who have struggled with these things. I would much rather be on the side that is consistent about why certain things are insulting or degrading, rather than selectively choosing it based on my ideology. That's why I don't describe things as retarded, or at least I try to avoid doing that as much as I possibly can. I don't describe things as autistic. I used the word cunt a lot more in the past, but then based on feedback, some of my viewers said they found that offensive and they didn't like it. I scaled it back a bit, out of respect for them, because I don't want to be a person who perpetuates this kind of negative atmosphere of marginalizing and sidelining people who are actually struggling and suffering. That's not something I want to be involved in. And you can call that what you want. You can call it virtue signaling. You can call it being a white knight. You can call it whatever the fuck you want. But that doesn't mean that I'm a horrible person because I make a joke that you don't like because it's at your expense. I don't care about your son. I'm sure your son is fantastic and a cute kid, and I wish him all the best in life. I just hope that you don't treat him the way that you treat people online. I hope that if he struggles through life, you don't call him a retard, or call him autistic, or call him a faggot. Or if he becomes a feminist, you don't marginalize him and insult him. I hope that he gets all the love in the world that he deserves, but I just wish that you would show that to other people as well. I wish you wouldn't tell people I wouldn't even rape you. I wish you wouldn't constantly call people autistic and faggots. I wish you wouldn't cover up for anti-Semitism and all these fucked up things that's going on in the Trump administration that you won't criticize, because yes, you are the partisan. Trump is your guy, so you have to defend it. Maybe we should put aside some of that partisan rancor and actually talk about the issues and actually discuss things like rational human beings. I've talked to a number of large YouTubers, Sean Head and Ahmed Skeptic. They've been fantastic, like great interactions with them because they don't just fling this shit at you. They actually have a conversation with you. Baring, he was borderline, but we still had a discussion, so that was cool. And a range of other people that I've had fantastic interactions with. But when it comes to Sargon of Akkad, he just seems so bitter and so angry. And so yes, I'll say it, partisan. That it's like you can't actually have a decent conversation with this fucking guy. Because he just calls you horrible and flips out and has double standards where he's joking about rape and retards and faggots and autists. And then you make a joke, he turns around and calls you a horrible human being. Like, where the fuck is the, where's the self-reflection there? I think he's treated me the worst out of anyone that I've talked to on YouTube. Lots of other people I've talked to have treated me pretty good. I just see him as a rank ideologue and the only thing he cares about is attacking feminism and social justice warriors and calling everyone a Marxist. But I mean, maybe sometime in the future we could attempt to have some kind of dialogue. But I definitely think that I don't want to be the language police. I want people to make their own fucking choices when it comes to language. But I think just insulting and degrading random people who have autism for no reason, that shit needs to die out. And having double standards where you can make the most offensive jokes in the world, but the moment something gets personal, you begin to cry. Be self-reflective. Think about yourself in that fashion. So I have no snappy sign-off for this video. Demotivator signing off. Leave all your hateful comments below. Thank you.